Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, remind me, what was it you were looking for again? Were you looking for an island map? Well, you've got one here, but it's not really an island map because it is connected to the outside. Were you looking for a map with plenty of buildable space? Well, looking at this quite clearly, we have plenty of buildable space. But do we? Perhaps you're looking for a vanilla map. Well, this looks like it's one of those stock vanilla maps, yes? Well, it really isn't. I'll tell you the one thing that it really, truly is.
It's my first map.
That's right. But I don't know, what was it you were looking for? I think I'm going to need some kind of reminder. Ah, you were looking for the like button. Well, it's right there. Thank you very much for your support. Anyway, let's have a look at today's map, shall we? Today's map is Hinomizu by KJ3 Photo. Now, you're thinking possibly a Japanese creator. Hinomizu looks like a Japanese build, doesn't it? Well, actually, no. The United States of America, according to their profile. There's your start square, looks flat and buildable, and got the good little roundabout intersection to get started. And again, the terrain heights looks like lots of flat buildable land throughout. The resources are patches of fertile, patches of ore, and patches of oil. Basically, a usable map. And then, if you have Sunset Harbour and you want to use some fishing, well, your fishing map will look like this. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? No DLC is required today. Got a few things to subscribe to, including we'll be using the Rhinestone Island theme and, of course, the realistic 1.2 LUT. A nice little written description as well. But yes, roundabout builders list is a requirement. I'm telling you that it's not really. Also, the map editor tunnels enabler, not strictly a requirement either, so you don't need to subscribe to those. Although the map tunnel enabler just goes to show that they know about these things, and so we will have some nice tunnels on the map already. And the roundabout builder, well, there's a roundabout on the map which probably they used the roundabout builder for, but you don't need it, but it's nice to have. Right, the standards of the road laying is okay. It's not going to be set in the world of light. It is my first map. We're not expecting the highest of standards at this point. Also, because I actually happen to have the intersection marking tool enabled, they've gone to the extra effort of actually marking in some a little bit of clipping underside of the highway there of a palm tree. But yeah, so you'll be seeing a little bit of lane markings on here. Again, you won't see them if you haven't got the intersection marking tool enabled. I happen to have it done, but it's not. It was, let's put it this way, it was a pleasing surprise. Again, the standards of the intersection marking tool use are about the same standard as the highway, in as much as they're okay. They're not to the highest, most polished levels, but they know how they've had a play. And like I say, we've got the central line not perfectly aligned there, and the brightness of the road painting doesn't quite match up with the vanilla roads or the network extension 2 roads that they're connecting up with. But it's not a bad effort, and I think we can award a little bit of praise for people that actually have a little bit of a play, a little bit of a try, and experiment. I'm all for it. Right, the highway does effectively a loop around the island. We'll come this way towards the start square, where we have, I don't mind this, normally these little elevated suspension bridges don't really work for me. I think on this map, they do. And it's just one of these, because it's slightly fantasy-esque style. Then the road elevates right up into the air here for the fly over the start square roundabout, which I would say is not necessarily the most efficient way of doing it, but again, it's not necessarily all about efficiency all of the time. And if you want to come along and fix the road, there is only the one highway to fix around the island, and fixing it to your liking is up to you. If you want to do it, then feel free and go ahead and do it. If you're playing for a vanilla style build off of this highway, I think it would work fine. It'd work fine. How much traffic it would handle, though, with it being one of these network extensions for 4-lane national roads, that's a different thing. Because, especially if you're not being too canny, probably a good map for the Traffic Manager Present Edition tool for making sure that traffic doesn't cut across the highway when you're connecting intersections onto it. And it's going to be one of those that I can see a lot of stop-start traffic if you're not very careful. So yes, look out for that one. Of course, if you haven't got Traffic Manager Present Edition and you are running a few mods, it's one to have. It's one to have. It has a lot of extra features in there, which will help you just control the traffic a little bit smoother. Oh, hang on. No light under here. Now that tree's managed to get to that point. Be clipping through in a week or two. Just like the one we saw earlier. Anyway, in terms of the shape of the island, I really like the shape of the island. It's why we're doing the review now. The actual screenshots and thumbnails on the workshop were enough for me to go, do you know what? I've got to check this one out. And of course, the Rhinestone Island theme, as many of you know, I am a big Flux Trance fan. And Flux is, I mean, this is one of the first big themes. Maybe not one of the best themes, but it was one of those that sort of like set people's imaginations going, yeah, we've got to use this theme. And yeah, all credit. But it is a little bit dated now, but it's certainly still very, very popular. Got a little bit of foliage clipping through the highway at this point as we go into the tunnel, where it dips into the tunnel, and then it comes out the other side nicely. And we've nearly done a full lap. We've nearly done a full lap, which is nice. But we haven't had a look at the rail. And the rail kind of does the same thing. Except for the rail does the full lap slightly away from the highways. So we're going to do another lap of the island. For those of you that were looking around at the environment, let you know that I would say that the standard of the rail is possibly one notch above the standards of the highway if you're talking about quality of road laying and network laying. I'm not saying it's the highest. Oh, we've got a little bit of glitching here. Look at that spike there. Parachuting down to there could be quite painful. And of course a few trees there as well, clipping through. So yeah, I mean, in terms of highway laying, the highway laying is okay actually. It's certainly not the most brilliant thing we've ever seen, but it's certainly okay for this style of map. The rail is a little bit better. The biggest problem with the rail, actually, some slight foliage clipping there. The biggest problem is here, right off the bat here. We have got, first of all, the clipping of the two rails, one under the other. You can't see them, and a bit of blue mantle there as well. And that's easily fixed just by, if we grab the node right by that catenary, come into there, grab that one, drag it out a bit, and pop it. There we go, just so we can see the actual wires of the rails there. That looks a lot better. Looks a lot better. Got rid of the blue mantle as well. Yes, I've just made some catenary chaos, but let's not worry about that one. It was a quick fix to get rid of what was a bigger problem, which was blue mantle for me is always the bigger problem, because the further you pull away from it, the brighter and stronger it gets. But after that, the rail line itself is actually quite a smooth ride. Now, my argument with this is, while it's a smooth-ish ride and follows a sensible kind of route around the island, it doesn't really open up the map too much. I'd like to have seen it take a more direct line across the island rather than just this loop around. I mean, maybe have it go either side of this mountain and then form a line that extends up and into the island further in. Well, it's a possibility, or even the tunnel right the way through it would have been something just a bit different. Oh, this tunnel up here is a little bit vertical. Oops. But yeah, I think the rail is a notch above the highways. Right, come back for the shipping and the water flow, and then we'll have a quick overview.
Are you baffled by how YouTubers put detailing on their assets? Are you frightened that something called anarchy would break your game? Then you need the BonBonB's Beginner Guide to Anarchy. Click the information button now.
10 minutes in and we have hit the shipping. And the shipping's okay, actually. We just got a loop that goes all the way around the outside. Could it be a little bit further away from the island in places? I think it possibly could in places, but it's not really hazardous. It's fine. In terms of the style of map that we're looking at today, I think the shipping route is going to be fine. We do have a little bit of a right angle turning going on here as we're coming from the edge of the map. Shipping triangle there would be better, but other than that, I've no complaints with the shipping. Again, it works for the style of map that we are looking at today. Water flow, for those of you that want vanilla style water flow, do you know what? We've got it. We've got it. We've got a couple of little rivers that run down and through, and I think the water flow through there is strong enough and possibly deep enough as well that you're going to be okay until you get down to the coast, and then you can do all the standard stuff around the coast as well. I would say that that works. Map as a whole, I like the shape, I like the design. The shape and the design are why we are here today. So it has a vanilla vibe to it. I thought it was going to be a vanilla map, and it really clearly isn't. This river is a little bit on the gouged side. It's fine, but it looks better from a distance, I think, but it is a little bit gouged. We've got a really nice, loving this lagoon. This lagoon is a really lovely addition, adds a lovely shape to the map, and we've got a lot of lovely buildable space down here as well. One of my favourite part of the map, because we've also got this river coming up from here as well, which is basically I think what the other river was trying to do, but that river does it much better. We have got the fantasy water spewing volcanoes. Of course, we've got fantasy water spewing volcanoes. And you know what? I think, again, in the style of a Rhinestone Island, I think these volcanoes are absolutely fine. I genuinely do. I think they are absolutely perfect for what we are looking at today. And it's credit. It's credit to be given. Got some plateaus there. I believe that's ore in there and possibly oil in that little patch there. So the resources are there to be exploited if you want to get into them. We've got a lovely little lake here as well. Aesthetically, we've got some really lovely aesthetic areas that once you actually start building into them, you're going to make for a very interesting build indeed. As long as there's plenty of buildable space, that's the thing. Is there plenty of buildable space? Well, it's looking like it, isn't it? Here's your start square intersection. Let's switch on those lines of terrain, the contour lines, and have a little look at how flat it is, or isn't. You see, this is your start square, and those of you that want a nice big flat buildable area, well, there really isn't any flat buildable land at all, apart from that little patch there. When you move away from the start square, the hills become not quite so strong, so you could quite easily build into these areas and keep it looking reasonable, but it is more of going to be it's a hilly map rather than an easy buildable map. So if you don't mind a hilly map, then this could be of interest to you. And again, it's just one of those maps that deceives. It says, I'm going to be a flat vanilla map, island map, and what you've got is a hilly, not vanilla, not island map. It's totally confuddling. But there are certainly, once you get away from the start square, there's some nice buildable areas that are certainly flat enough to actually do something almost grid style. Oh my goodness me. Back to the start square. We have got a slightly magnificent asset of the day to review today. One would say I would marvel at this. Marvel at this. Okay, let's pull back and have a little look, shall we? It's a hulking fire station. Yes, yeah. Now this creator, Obud 2010, I mean this has been on the workshop for quite some time. They have a selection of these style of things, like there was a Hulkbuster. Yeah, they've taken some models and they've converted them into stuff that you probably would only use in a fantasy map build. This is a fantasy island, so why not? Oh, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Factoids, because factoids. In 1911, 3 men were hanged for the murder of Sir Edmund Berry at Greenberry Hill. Well, Greenberry Hill was like an execution location. You know, You got the idea. You got the idea. Anyway, these three men were called Green, Berry, and you guessed it, Smith. No, Hill. Sorry. That's the next factoid. Yes. So Greenberry Hill and Greenberry Hill. That's quite funny. Sort of. That's and Berry. I was wondering if Berry, was he related to the Berry? Sorry, Hulk Fire Station, Obud 2010, the creator. Lovely work, thank you very much for that. I've been distracted by the factoid a little bit there. Yeah, Greenberry Hill. So maybe I'm not doing the research, I don't care. It's gone, I'll have forgotten about it by tomorrow. What do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description. It will take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, or an Apple account, or even a Patreon one. What do I think of today's map, though? Well, I was drawn in by the aesthetic, by the design, and I think the aesthetic and the design are definitely striking enough for 3 stars. In fact, I'm going to go just a smidge above middle 3 because I think the design is eye-catching. It's just when you're getting really close that it starts to lose it. So 3 stars. Detailing. Yeah, it's a newer creator, and this is where the skill levels come in, and so I don't think it's really too harsh me saying it's a high 2, and I think that their work will definitely get better over the coming months. And then gameplay potential. If you want a hilly map, you're good to go. I just think the design of it would make it a little bit easier to play with a flatter start square and then increasingly more hilly areas. I'm going to go 3 stars. I'm going to go towards the lower end of 3. Hinomizu by KJ3 Photo. Yeah, I'm sure it'll have quite a few fans. I don't think it's going to be one for me to play. I do prefer something that I'm doing a YouTube channel on Cities Skylines, so I still want an easy map to build on, you know? That's just me. Low skill level bonbon. That's me. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. If you are still here, Dad, are you here? Pop, are you there? If you are, then use the word of the day into the comments to score yourselves some population points just for fun. I'll be back tomorrow with the chart show and a special. Yes, a special. Look out for that one. Thanks for watching.